80. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. I am triggering the broadcast because I know there are penalties if I start late on some channels. Um, and then I can just, and folks know that they can just sign in and check them out or just join the stream. Talking to myself here. By the way, StreamYard has this new feature where I can start editing videos into clips. So I'm going to be starting to use that a lot. Future self, or whoever else is watching. I'm currently at Bland Station CDMX, and the current problem is figuring out how to stream audio to um, from multiple apps into one input. Because I'm listening to videos on another Chrome session, and I would like to be able to route them all to one input, and that's StreamYard here. For some reason, I haven't figured it out. Sounds like an interesting yak shaving slash side quest. So how about we try to uh, figure it out? Da-da-da, how Linux audio works. So we have Bava controls, a switching station, sound device, gully sounds, and then the apps. Okay. First of all, there's a source and there's a target. Something is making sound, and something else is supposed to receive and process it. For most everyday tasks, doing all this translates to using an application on VLC Media Player and, and generating sound, and the device receiving the sound. All right. Other way around, it's basically the same. Device like a microphone generates sound, sends it to an application like Jitsi, video chat, or QTracker for processing. No matter what the model, it's always the same. Generate sound in one end and send it to the other. Between the two endpoints, there's just a Linux sound system because after all, something needs to route the sound. Without going too far back in history, advanced Linux sound architecture also managed audio in Linux traditionally. It still does. Difference, modern Linux, you don't generally need to deal directly with LSA to route audio. You can deal with tools sitting on top like Pulse Audio. And there's this other thing I've been seeing. I just don't know what exactly it is. Let's figure this out. If you have sound working on your Linux machine on a daily basis, but you get to throw enough balance, or you need to get a specific thing about input block, right on. It's not about install drivers, but we don't need to install drivers, so we're good. Let's see. One person in. Hey, hey, hey. Glad to have you. Let's see where you're from. Twitch. All right. This is good. Let me say. Let me do this. Let me go to the comments. Let me say. Hey there. Curious to know what you're working on today. Cool, cool. All right, back to reading. And strictly speaking, it's not necessary. It also works so well with some distribution are just starting to integrate post by default. Um, are just starting to integrate post by default. However, dealing directly with ALSA can require a lot of manual hacking. I'm not talking about the initial setup. Using ALSA could result in some pretty convoluted configs and wrapper scripts, and you still never get one configuration to serve your everyday use case. Problem wasn't always with ALSA. Sometimes it was a fault of the application itself, but it doesn't change the end result. The box was still broken until you could swap out of config files and restart a service. That's annoying. So the thing is, we're demanding a lot more of our computers than before. Audio input used to be either a speaker or a headphone. Now we want a computer to beam audio across the room to a screen, blah, blah, blah. Also, different apps. Offset spacing between the thing that generates sound and the thing that's meant to receive it. Okay, cool. So get comfortable with Pulse. Remember three things. Check your cables, physical, set sound input, output from a sound. Manage your targets, power control. Okay, check cables. If you're looking at turn it off, okay, this is good. If it is, you've done, okay, cool. Check application preferences. Um, yeah, and then audio power control, dynamic panel configuration, blah, blah. Activate sound cards and defines user profile. And that's a machine, for example, I get deactivated and build an unlock. So let's go back to that thing. So I have it here already. Um, ooh, got some hearts. Oh, my little sister Gaby's checking me out on Facebook. Oh, that's
All
kind of
right,
cute.
I'm back.
Jessy, you're back. Good. Alrighty. So
Can
let's
you
do the
see me
mic
now?
check. You can't see me?
I can see you. Can you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess you can. I see your
yeah.
screen.
We're live. We're even live. Everything is working right now. I was reading through an article on some ALSA pulse control stuff, Pablo control, that's some Linux sound stuff, because I wanted to figure out how to stream another browser session into this thing, but I can do this later. What are you going to be working on today?
So I will be working on a growth landing page,
Mm,
mainly designing,
oh,
and
sweet.
yeah, that's it. What about you?
I'm going to be trying to learn designing. So I'm going to be vicariously watching your screen. You can share screen, and then it'll show up downstairs in StreamYard. So I think
Okay,
you can see
perfect.
on my screen what it looks like, the StreamYard thing right now. Let me
Yeah,
make it full size. Um,
infinite Jessies.
yeah, right. That's kind of cool. Trippy. We could
Okay,
also
do
do
you
this.
want me to show you the landing page so you can give me your input on this?
Yeah, let's do
Perfect. Man, that's exciting. First live stream.
it. Yeah, Jesse, your debut. You're gonna make me famous. You being on the stream is gradually gonna get me like a couple more watchers. Yes.
Okay, wait. So present, share screen.
Mm-mm.
Have you seen my work setup?
I haven't yet.
Okay, sent you a
I'm,
message on WhatsApp.
okay,
Okay, give me a sec.
let me take a quick flip over. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be impressive. Let's go. No way. You are. Jeez, this is cray. Yeah, no, this is good for you. Good for you.
Thank you,
Damn.
man.
Okay, hang on. Um,
Unfortunately, that's not my view. I would love to, but
it's
yeah,
right now. It is your review.
right now it is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, do you see my screen?
I don't know how to do it on a sweet. This is beautiful. I see. I don't see your screen yet. Maybe you can. Um, do you need
Ah,
permissions or whatever? Because I don't know. I think you have all control on
Chrome
that
has
front.
lost permission to capture your screen. Why?
Oh, maybe it's like a browser thing that you have
Yeah,
to
let me
restart the
check
browser.
this.
Mm. Once in a while,
Mm-mm-mm.
it happens again that Linux user or Mac OS users are like, it doesn't always work, huh? That's kind of like frustrating.
Where is it? Where is it?
All right, I'm going to the standing desk.
What coffee are you working from?
Blend station, pretty cozy looking. Some plants in front of me, some folks doing their thing. Eh, not a bad place. Blend station CDMX. It's one of the quieter places I found, and it's still pretty loud. I mean, like they're doing the coffee grinding basically in my left ear.
We don't hear anything, so that's good.
Okay, cool. Then the noise canceling thing kind of works. Yeah, and I do have
Yeah, do you have a mic or something? Wait.
yeah I do have this
Sorry, man.
open
Okay,
shocks
you
thing
good?
on. Yeah, so that's how I do the audio. I had a couple of streams where the audio wasn't so good. I think that was usually places that are just so loud that the noise canceling doesn't work. Um, but I can't get like a proper mic because then it doesn't become mobile anymore. So I am optimizing very heavily for mobile compatible because we spend so much time on the road. So this is gonna have to do somehow, or I have to figure out how to filter places better.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool,
I'm
cool,
still
cool.
figuring out how to
To do
reset my
the
permissions.
okay. Um, meanwhile,
Mm,
do it like that or like this. While you're setting that up, I'm going to read through that one hover control thing, see if I can figure it out. Meanwhile,
All right, I think now it's good.
something.
Oh wait, I need to relaunch Chrome. So
Ah,
tilted.
gotcha. So you'll be back in a bit. Mm-mm. Cool, cool, cool. the mic checks and whatnot. So here we are. Mm, that's weird. Why did that disappear? So let's go back to this thing. Uh, how do I direct this to? So this is the problem. I can direct it only to those. Come on, sunshine. I'm going to put this on a different screen. It's practically impossible to switch quickly. All right, I think Jesse is back. Here we go. Okay, pause this. All right, I see you. Add you to stream. Cool, cool,
Let me
cool. Just added you again.
wait.
Yeah,
Now it should be okay. Let me check this.
cool. Did you change your machine? Because are you mostly working from like a desktop Mac and then you have like a mobile MacBook for traveling?
No, I use like my MacBook for everything, but
Hmm.
so yeah, now I'm traveling, so I don't have my setup with me.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So I do see the other. Can you do the add to stream thing? No, right? I have to do it because I see you on my screen. I see like a add to stream button, but
Yeah,
I was curious to know if you have the permissions too.
no, I can't.
Okay, here we go. Add to stream. You're on.
So you
Dope.
see my Figma file, right?
I do. Okay, cool.
Perfect.
We're live, folks. We're live. Oh, sweet. That is like, this is why I need to learn. Gosh.
So this is the landing page. It's
Mm-hmm.
really inspired by Apple, but this is like on purpose. It's for the marketing
Mm-hmm.
part.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your process, like because I was flipping through the syllabus for one of those Code Academy design courses, and he
Yeah,
spoke a lot about the wireframing. Do you find yourself doing the wireframing thing a lot, or do you start with kind of
okay.
like higher fidelity sooner?
That's a great question. I guess it all depends if I'm working with a team or not.
Hmm.
If now I'm
Okay.
working alone, like if this is a solo project, I
Yeah.
would just sketch things and then go directly to a high fidelity version. But if
I
now
see.
I'm working in a team, I prefer to do the wireframing steps because it helps clarifying, like, are we on the same track or not? You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
But
Okay.
generally, no. I like if I'm working on a solo project, like for example this landing page, I will directly just sketch a little bit things, and I will directly do a first iteration. So if now I come back to my first iteration, I
Mm-hmm.
generally start with a visual. How can I say this? Visual identity. Like I explore
Mm-hmm.
different like style and everything.
Yeah.
Once this is done, I will go like
Okay.
for the first version that is mainly empty. Then I work on the
Uh,
structure, and then I will like do several iteration every time, improving a little bit more, and
this is
slowly but
interesting.
surely,
Yeah.
like creating it, and then at
Cool.
the end something like this. So yeah,
Okay. And when you do iterations, is there like a certain rule of how much you can change per iteration? Are you trying to make minor changes per iteration? Is there like a system I can follow between the iterations?
I guess it's minor iteration. Like I, I could have this idea. I'm like, oh, this could be great. Let's try another iteration. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to add something. The wireframe, I skip them for a landing page. Now, if it's a complete app, generally wireframing helps you
Yeah.
think. So
Yeah.
I would
I
do
hear
the
you.
wireframe steps even though I'm working alone. But for
I
a landing
see.
page like this, no. But so
I
yeah,
hear
let's
you.
take back my iteration. Wait, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I can find something. Let me think. Let me find another one. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
So we have the full iterations right here. I find the
Mm-hmm.
visual identity, and then I start to sketch things like to create the general structure. You could say it's a
Mm-hmm.
wireframe. I don't consider it to be a wireframe. But
What,
then I
what,
start
what,
to
what,
like
what's the difference for you?
a wireframe. It will be, how can I say this? more complete. Here you just have the general structure, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like your way of seeing it.
Hmm.
So this is the
Gotcha.
first iteration based on like the structure that I did just before. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, how can I lay things down in a simple but complete way?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this structure is great, but what if I change the layout and I put it like this? And I'm like, ah,
Mm,
that's interesting.
I
Why
see.
not why not putting things like this? And I'm trying things
Yeah.
slowly but surely. And this is an iterative process.
Yeah, I see.
And then I design the top and I'm like, yeah, that looks good. Let's try things like this with maybe an illustration. I'm like, ah, I don't know about illustration. And so I will
Hmm.
try with like real avatars.
I see.
And
Oh,
slowly but surely, like it becomes an entire thing.
yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about this?
I like the feel of this. There's something that doesn't quite completely get to me yet. I think with the logo and there's some elements there where, like, for example, the logo, the inside or something to the right there, I can't read it on my screen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Ah,
the
yeah. Okay.
newsletter.
It's as
Yeah.
a
So
newsletter,
the
basically.
combination of the logo and the newsletter, they look like something I would have designed. And by that, I feel like there's something off here because
Okay. Yeah.
everything else feels very Apple-y, and then these things, the logo itself and the newsletter text, or maybe even the typeface selected, for me feel kind of like, oh, David took the Figma file and made some changes in it.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, so that feels like it doesn't quite align. Like, well, the other things like that I have right now is like I do feel sometimes like the text, even though it's almost whitish on dark, it sometimes feels like the contrast is a little low, especially when you see like trusted by. I feel like it kind of like drowns a little bit
Yeah.
away in the bluish hue that's behind it.
Right. Let me check it quickly. Contrast.
So I would have to pay more attention to read it, but that's my distracted, my
I don't know if
freaky
it's your
brain.
display because it passes a contrast checker.
Okay, then it should be fine. Yeah, then it's just my distracted brain
But
that just
this
clicks
is
out.
not where I need your feedback because this is a complete project. This was more on the gross landing page. So let me
Hmm.
bring you back to the design. This is where I need your input. So this is a simple waitlist form.
Yeah,
What do you think about like the look and feel?
feel love the slickness. Um, Nice and simple. I think primary message is front and center. What I when you're asking me this, I'm thinking like there is no native to-do list app in the Apple ecosystem.
Nope. I
I thought
guess you
there
have
was
the
something, but it
reminders.
was shitty.
You have the reminders, but it's not really a
Ah,
really great to-do list experience.
I see. All right. Okay, cool. That's I learned something new
But
in
I'm
TIL.
trying the positioning because basically I didn't wanted to come back with a title like this. I was more like say goodbye to ugly to-dos. But then I
Yeah.
was like, it's for Mac users. I mean, it's for Apple platform users. And if
Yes.
I can position my apps like, yeah, it could be an app created by Apple, people can picture it, right?
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, like I liked the say goodbye to ugly to do's things a lot, but I also understand. I also had this with this other person who was building a tool on Twitter that is actually Apple only, and I thought, well, maybe it's something I could play around with, and then if the messaging isn't clear in the beginning, then you have a bunch of like Android-ish users who are like,
Yeah.
ah, shit, it's not for us. Um,
Yeah, I guess though with this message, I'm fucked to the day where I need to create an Android app. Then I will need to rethink my entire marketing, but that's fine.
True, but you can
Yeah,
still
but
say it's
user
Apple
error.
esque. It's an Apple feel, like a beautiful, minimal. I don't know how you would describe Apple, but kind of like a cohesive design idea behind it. I mean, you could
Great.
move that into the Android world, I guess.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I just think that the Android user base probably doesn't prioritize that as much. Like I
No.
feel like they'll be like, if it's a clunky app but it works really well, it makes me hyper productive, I'll use it. And then the Apple cohort feels more like, it needs to look nice. and feel nice for me to use it. At least
Yeah,
that's how
definitely.
my naive brain characterizes the difference between those cohorts. Yeah. I so you know what I find interesting?
Yep.
When you have the colored blocks pop a lot more than the other things. So do you decide, are these the primary USPs that you're trying to outline?
I guess the privacy of it is really important.
Okay, cool. So that's why it's in a colored block. Which blocks would you color? Can you show me all of the ones that would get a color in terms
Uh,
of
this
messaging?
one is not a colors. It's just like make it yours, basically, that you can
Okay.
customize it how you want. So it's an image, but I
Yeah.
guess it brings a lot of attention too.
Yeah.
So this one is not as important as this one, but this one is definitely is. So privacy
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I hear you there. Um, So then can you show me if the contrast checker does the same thing on that block? Because I'm
Yep.
quite curious for my eyes. It could also be that the compression
No,
maybe
normally it
changes
should be.
colors. Okay.
Normally it should be, but let me check because I always check the contrast when I'm
Mm-hmm.
designing. Where is it? Contrast.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
it
need to
passed.
use that. Okay. Okay, I see. So because this is on, but I meant
Maybe,
on the
maybe
purple
no,
text.
maybe not this one, but this is on purpose.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be in the background, like
Yeah,
out of focus. Yeah, because for me the contrast on the everything is readable. I think the colors are very easy on my eyes, but when it's on the purple background or the magenta, I don't know colors so well. Like
yeah.
sometimes I feel like okay, it's either overwhelming for my eyes and I'm not really reading it
Okay,
anymore, but that's probably my brain just being weird about things. Um,
okay. Let me check quickly. Yeah,
because I struggle with this a lot. I'd be curious to understand how you would pick color pairings that are legible to people, because that's clearly not something I know how to do. Do
legible.
you have
What
yeah,
does it
do you
mean?
have like
Sorry, sorry for the live
oh,
stream if my English is bad sometimes. I'm trying my best.
oh good. You can also throw French words in there because I would learn then the French word for things. That would be actually quite brilliant.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
so
So if you want to say
readability,
color in French, it's couleur, in couleur.
couleur, couleur, yeah. I love the yeah. I know the spelling though, but the pronunciation, I'm always a little bit nervous to say the words because I feel like I'm probably butchering it. Um, and when you pick the colors, do you have a palette that you predefine um, before you start using them? Because I see you very fluidly going to that color picker tool and then dragging things around, and I kind of like it. Feels magical when you do it, and then at the
Yeah,
same time, like I also often see people have like these design language guidelines and then fixed colors that they recommend to use. At what point do you
yeah.
come up with those colors?
At the end of a project,
Ah,
like if now my
jeez.
landing page is done and I am like satisfied by the result, I would
Uh-huh.
definitely create like a fixed color palette or things like this. But now I guess I'm still exploring,
Yeah.
it's not the
Yeah.
end. So I don't fix myself too much rigidity. But I
It's a very.
still I
Mhm.
still have my color guides here, but it's not like it will change. You see, I
Mhm.
have my secondary color, my primary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. Alrighty. Can you scroll up a little bit? Yeah. So discover growth. Who is it for? Let's see who it is um, for the digital estate.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically you will be able to click here and to have a
Yeah.
more complete description.
Ah. And how do you
Kind of.
imagine the description to look? Would it be like the entire panel flips over and it's just text, or is it a
So
what am I
quickly,
imagining?
if I sketch it,
Jeez, like look at this. You're sketching like life so quickly.
probably, but I need to change the color though because it takes too much space. But
Hmm.
probably that would be like this with more text, like maybe the story of growth or something.
Gotcha. Okay. What's your thesis on what to hide behind clicks or put right in your face, because the click is, of course,
Yeah.
we have to get people to press the button first.
So I guess it depends. Like, is it useful at first glance? If it's not, you can hide it. If it's an important information, you should never do this. For behind this, I mean, it will be the story of growth. So it's really like for people that really want to try everything on the website, maybe 1%. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay, I
So
hear you.
for important informations, I will never do this.
All right. And then, and for growth, what would be your target? Let me just get the product. Let me understand the product better, because I've seen most of the screenshots or the videos that you've shared were for, I thought was the mobile app. So I was very fixated or very primed to think that growth is like a mobile app, like basically the best to do app you can get on mobile right
Yeah,
now. But I do see the desktop app screenshot right
yeah.
now.
So growth is designed for iPad, iPhone,
Okay.
and Mac. But for the moment, growth is built with on iOS, and that was a
Gotcha.
mistake because most of the people that will be using growth will be using it on their Mac and not on the
Hmm.
mobile. But I started the mobile because I needed to learn how to code, and
Yeah, yeah.
mobile was the first option. It was the easier. But if I could like come back a little bit in time, I would definitely start with the Mac app.
Okay, really interesting. Because at the same time, you could also say like, well, probably it gave you like a more focused sandbox to start learning in. Would be a
Yeah,
lot to learn. Like the Apple developer ecosystem is sometimes quite overwhelming and complex. So
that's it.
having
Wait,
developed Mac apps
coming back
myself,
in 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
cool, 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 awesome. All righty, three folks here. We're doing design reviews, not even review. Like Jesse is kind of like reviewing his process. And what I'm going to do meanwhile is gonna switch the. Holy smokes! How do I do this? Um, now exit full screen, and then I can put my thing back on stream. So yeah, Jesse was just kind of like giving us a glance into this design process. That was kind of cool. Getting glimpses. Now, what I need to do today is try to level up on my design deficits. And I found like a couple of resources. This maybe not. Um, I believe here's the Code Academy thing. What will you learn? So let's see what we can do here. Describe. We should be able to describe, compare, contrast various fields of UI UX design, understand popular design methodologies, understand the importance of wireframing, ideate and sketch, use Figma. All right. Does not require any prerequisite knowledge, but what will you create? Blah, blah, blah. Don't like this project, but I'm just gonna walk through the system. Let's just do the fucking thing, right? What do you do? No, I just learn for fun. Like learn for fun. Build a project actually. Continue. Um, so here we go. What are UI and UX design? Understand the difference between UI and okay. So maybe this is a point where I whip open notes and a UI UX. Do I have like a section on this? Okay, so I go back to my startups notes, right? And then tool services, probably not here. Growth hacking, I'll start a section UI, UX design, and I'll probably put the link to this course in there. And I probably put this on my screen so I can read and make notes at the same time. Uh, Double check what's going on here. Cool, cool, cool. What is your input design? Let's figure that out. I think Jesse is back.
Yep, I'm back. Can
All
you hear me?
right. I can hear you just fine. I put your screen back on.
Okay, perfect.
Uh,
I put that set because my girlfriend will be cooking, and so tell me if you can hear it or not.
oh, that's fine. Totally fine. That's going to be a good dinner for you then. Such a beautiful view, eating together.
Yeah,
The
no, that's
life.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, um, where were we at?
Um,
Yeah.
Last, yeah, we were talking about
Do
the
you have any other
developer.
advice for the landing page?
Mhm.
Wait, let me come back to it. That's it.
Yeah, back there. Cool. Okay, so that means then the next build you would do would probably be the
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 markup.
the Mac app, right?
But
But
I
you're
definitely need to validate the idea before moving to the markup because already now I spent so many hours on it.
yeah,
And like I said to you before, I guess it was a wrong move. I should have started with a simple landing page to test the idea.
yeah,
Yeah. What
yeah.
do you think
But
about this?
I think about the approach now or about the landing page, because I'm
About the
thinking,
approach.
yeah, about the approach. I totally agree with you. Landing page all the way. Problem is, I think sometimes it's really hard to figure out what to put on the landing page. And sometimes you probably need to have like some background information on what is reasonable or um, feasible, what you can do within a certain timeline. And I think like sometimes it helps to play around in crafting something to kind of like refine like what's the direction I really want to go into. Because I think for a lot of people, just building something is not the end goal. It's also building something that is meaningful to them. And sometimes you
Exactly.
kind of have to carve out for yourself what is this thing that I'm really going to be passionate about or that I'm going to give a damn about before I put it on the landing page, and then probably find like 50 things that I could do that I have absolutely no connection with, but sure, I could build it. Um, so I think it's not as easy as I think. I think it's something you get better at over time because I do hear a lot of indie hackers are just like basically shipping landing pages and then testing that, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, like, would you ship a landing page for example, would you ship a landing page for, oh, here's this device that you can plug into your car that will drive your car? You probably wouldn't do it until you've played
No,
around with some machine learning tech and then realize like, oh, this is what I can do. And then you craft the landing page around what you know is possibly doable with your skill set. So I think
definitely.
it's kind of like a mix of both where you have to kind of like test the waters to feel like this space is okay. I think I can do this before you then write a landing page because you don't want to put something out there where you're not even sure like, can I actually technically do this? Then it's kind of like disconnected.
No, definitely. You're right.
Yeah. So for simple things, I feel like if you're doing like a very simple SaaS, like oh, you upload receipts and you can tag them. That's simple. There's no tech behind it. It's like you upload a receipt, you tag it, and then you can find all your receipts by tags. I don't know who it's useful for, but it's technically so trivial that you
That you
could build a
know you
landing.
can do it, so of course you can build a landing page.
Exactly. And I think for
Yeah.
you, because you said like you were learning to code, I think it makes sense that you kind of like got an experience of, oh, this is the Apple developer ecosystem. This is
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
can do easily. Yeah.
No,
In
definitely.
my like I think in my case, for example, with the formation tools problem, I had I had an imagination of what it could look like, but I couldn't sketch to save my life. So
No, and
then I thought,
also it's too complex. Like
yeah,
you
for
have
me
to
it's
put your hands into it, right?
yeah,
It's not possible.
exactly. And I think
Yeah,
only when we started building something, we started getting a feel for, oh, but this doesn't work at all, or this is kind of like something that could be helpful. And then I think from that point, all of a sudden, it's kind of like beautiful because then you kind of get a better idea of how to imagine the product, and then also with that comes the language of how to characterize it. And trust me, I don't have the full complete language yet. It's still an ongoing process, but I think
yeah,
all I'm trying to say is it's not top down or bottom up. It's kind of like a mix of both where you do a couple of high level things with a couple of low level things and you hope they at some point come together.
definitely. Love this.
Yeah, yeah.
When is your
So
blog ready?
blog,
Articles from David Assamina.
I don't know. I'm streaming now. Like I
Maybe.
guess the blog is already ready if you have the transcription
Yeah.
language models on. Like they just transcribe it for you. So I think the next versions of whatever big language models that a OpenAI is going to ship, if they take transcripts, then
Oh yeah,
all these musings would be in there. Um, but I'm also very convinced that there are a couple of people that have already written a lot on these topics in much clearer language than I probably could. Um, so yeah,
okay.
cool. So let's see. Um, let's. There's one other thing that I was curious about. I had a conversation with someone recently on Twitter about Framer versus Figma. and I know that you're using Figma right now,
Yep.
and then you're basically going to build the page in Webflow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So one thing that I was curious to understand is, have you tried Framer out, and have you just actively decided like, oh, Figma is just a wider use tool?
Yep.
Maybe it's better. Like, what's the
So from
reason
my
for?
understanding, Framer is not so much a design tool, but more a website builder. You can compare
Yeah,
it to Webflow.
that's also how the person characterized it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you wouldn't design your landing page in Framer. I think it will be a tedious process. Instead, you will do it in Figma, and then you convert it. Instead of using Webflow, you use Framer. But
Ah,
from what I heard, this tool looks great. I need definitely to try it.
yeah. Because I've seen also so many videos of people almost designing in it that for me the lines are blurred. But granted, I'm not a designer, so now it's you're the second person that confirms that you just do kind of like the web thing in there, but they also
Yeah.
seem to do quite a bit of animation stuff, and I wasn't completely clear which tools are good to use for that. Like, how would you tackle animations? Do you just simply screen record, or do you have like a
No,
specific?
I guess I would I will imagine it in my mind, and I will directly implement it in Webflow. You know what I mean? Like directly
Animations
in
in
the
Webflow
website
directly?
builder
Okay.
animation. Yeah.
Yeah. What about if you want to sketch out like animations of like
I,
a
I mean,
usage
now
flow?
it depends on like the animation type. If we are
Uh-huh.
speaking about a simple animation on a mobile app, you definitely
Mhm.
do it on Figma. But if you are speaking about, I don't know, a loading state for your website, I guess it's better to directly do it on Webflow or on the
Gotcha.
website builder. I don't know.
All right, I hear you.
Like for example, we were brainstorming some animation for my portfolio, and currently it's this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, she pushed already. No, so I
Oh,
cannot
so
show you
this is
the
new.
001.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is new. But this is typically like, let's imagine it, and then you create it directly on Webflow.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because
I know.
I guess it will be a tedious process to do it on Figma. It's feasible, but it will be boring and not efficient.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And in terms of like the translation from Figma to Webflow, because that my
yeah,
issue is sometimes it seems like you're doing so many things in different tools, and you kind of like have to duplicate some of the effort. Not duplicate, but then
yeah,
like,
definitely.
yeah.
I would say now for the moment it's really like this: you design in Figma and then you convert it into Webflow.
Uh-huh.
But my guess is that the future of website builders, and it's already happening now with, if you take, I don't know if you do know Editorix.
No, no.
Basically, it's
Editorix?
like a website builder made by Wix. You know Wix, of course. You know Wix.
Yes, yes.
Wix is like a shitty website builder. Yes, you cannot do so many things. But
Hmm.
they created Editor Wix, and it's made for designers, and you can like really design inside it, because you can move things around. Whether in Webflow, you cannot really move things around. You know how it is, right?
I know. Yeah. That's
You
exactly
cannot
also
you
why I
can you
was
can
confused.
you cannot like I don't know if I remove auto layout here, not move things like this. It's not feasible. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to design.
And
But
why I was confused, because I felt like Framer would allow you to do that more than Webflow.
I never tried Framer, so I cannot
Yeah,
say. Maybe it is, and if it is, it's insane because yeah, this is definitely the future for
I
website
hear you.
builder.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't know about Framer. Let me check.
Let's check it out. Yeah. I'm super curious now. Because they also have like pretty decent developer tooling for like animations that your designer can design in Framer, and you can get the code for it right away to implement, which makes the duplication a little less because you get the right assets right away. And that's why I thought it was kind of like an interesting idea.
Come on. Okay.
uh,
From what I understood, like you can do a lot of things, but it will never
mhm.
be like you don't have the Webflow capabilities. So now, if you are creating just a landing page, Framer seems great. But if you
Yeah.
are creating like a membership website, Framer is not a good fit.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right. So maybe
definitely.
maybe it's just then landing pages that is just like a very good tool for.
And I just saw that you can import your Figma design directly into Framer,
Yeah,
which means that you don't have to do.
all the starting design work in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I guess then they are definitely positioning with the whole import thing. They're kind of like subliminally saying like maybe don't start designing in here. Design in Figma, bring it in. Um,
Maybe, I don't know. Wait, I will. Let's try to. 2 seconds. I will log in, but I will hide
sure.
the streaming.
Yeah, perfect. Good call. Let me remove you from the. Up, up, up. Yeah, your screen is hidden.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, next time for the next live stream, I need to create another session on my Mac to not share sensitive information. I think it's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, absolutely. I have like separate browser sessions for them.
Yeah, you're a hacker, right?
Yeah, but I'm also not like my OPSEC is not great because I sometimes have it that there's like this buffer with emails open. I'm like, ah, shit, it's too late now. It's I'm just it's lucky. I'm just lucky. Uh,
Oh wow.
you probably did hear that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
they're
think I'm not the only one.
blending a smoothie. I just realized they have smoothies here. Yeah,
Oh,
I can also like let's see if I'm standing here. Yeah, there's there's a corner here. This might be a little less noisy, but I think I'm just gonna have to suffer through this. I can
okay, I'm
mute
back with
myself meanwhile.
Framer. I'm back with Framer. Let's try it.
Okay. Your screen isn't shared anymore, so we
Yep.
would have to
Now it's done.
fully
You're on the show.
at the stream. There we go.
Let's go. How does this thing look like? This is good already.
Let's see how you have some moving flexibility there.
Okay, blog item. So you have some CMS content, I guess.
Hmm. So were you able to just freely move things around, or was it like
Not for
chaotic?
the moment. Wait, I don't know anything about framers, so
Yeah.
use the frame tool to draw a rectangle. Okay,
So
you
it's kind of
can
like
move things
designy, right?
around.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kind of
man,
slick.
this will be like a game changer for my productivity if it's like this.
Hmm. Because that would mean that you're basically right now designing your page right inside of a page
Yeah,
designer,
exactly.
and you can the publish button is right there. So effectively, yeah, dope.
Okay, but can I do this? Wait, why is it like this? Can I change the ratio?
Yeah, there's a lock up top. I saw the lock next to height width, the blue lock.
Wait, where did you see it?
Under size, your mouse has to go a little down, little
Down?
down, little down. Yeah, here you see width, height, and then there's a
Ah, yeah,
lock, so it's
perfect.
fixed
Okay,
ratio.
there we go. That looks so
Yeah,
great, man.
yeah. Oh, you can already do like what is it, constraints or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if now, for example, I put it, let's say, on the left and not on the right, and if I resize the mainframe, yeah, it's like Figma, right? Yeah,
Is
that looks
like
great. And so if I put the constraint on the right,
here size the frame again.
here we go. And
Huh.
on the middle, normally it will resize everything.
Ah,
That's interesting.
yeah. Huh.
Don't lose time learning Figma. Already jump into Framer, man.
I think I remember reading people saying like, ah, the pricing is a little steep, but then I guess
Okay.
it's the pricing for two tools in one almost
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you so maybe it offsets
And
in that
it's I
way.
guess if it's really complete, because I just tried it for 2 minutes, but if it's
Yeah,
really complete, it's about your time
yeah,
because you can save a ton of time if you're doing this.
that's the thing. Less replication. I also think it's refreshing that if you have to call in like a web developer to help out with some framer related things, that it happens in
Yep.
the same place. So the designer is not, oh shit, I was on the old file. You're doing something else there. We
Yeah,
must align.
definitely.
It's all the same place. And I think that they have really cool. There's this animation thing that I saw, Framer animation.
Yeah, I saw some pretty dope things,
Yeah,
like some crazy things.
yeah, exactly. I think it's more designed for developers. So, like, if I'm gonna shoot you over a link, let me see how it works. Here's private chat inside of StreamYard, and that means like for me as a developer, like I could basically get some assets out of Framer that you basically have tested. You know that the animations are correct. I just have to implement. I just maybe have to copy them over into some place. I don't know, but it makes it a little less clunky. It simplifies communication, I would argue. Yeah. Let's see, where are we? This is like very
That's
much a
great.
developer centric experience. So this is one thing that I thought was really interesting about Framer, the motion library that they have. Um, and then the second thing that I would need to figure out, which I have no understanding for yet, is if I want to animate like when you have those beautiful,
Oh,
ah,
I'm sorry. You can create components. That's great.
right?
Wait. Okay, let's try a simple thing. Like, let's try. Bro.
Right?
And I guess you already almost know. That's weird. With okay. You almost know how to use it instantly if you know how to use Figma.
That's like a good way to design a tool to stick to the patterns that people already know.
Yeah, the standards, because then you
Uh-huh.
can really move quickly.
Yeah.
Simple row. Okay. Welcome to components. Let's see. Oh, that's slick.
Huh. And you can also do the
And then
variants.
yeah, and then I can create a variance. Let's say with instead of a blue thing, I put an orange thing. Then I rename. How do you rename your variants though?
Um, oof.
No, I don't want to.
Do I
How do
see
you rename
anything?
variables?
Name variant, framer, da, 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 component variants. Da, da, da.
Simple row variants. Plain text from it. Okay, I
Jeez.
need to figure this out, but this is
Yeah.
interesting.
But dude, like seriously, there are like transitions that you can program right inside of Framer, which means you can basically figure out like the transition thing there. You can basically configure how to transition from one frame variant to another if you wanted to do something like that, which is
Yep.
effectively animation related, right inside of this tool. The names I haven't spotted yet, so let me get back on topic. Uh, Change properties,
That's so
color.
great. Simple row. Oh man, this tool looks great. It feels great. It's easy to use. So you did a
Uh-huh.
great job.
Yeah. And in terms of like going back to the component, one thing I didn't quite get, did you see like a component hierarchy tree, like an element hierarchy tree, which you typically see to the left in Figma? Like I would see within this frame, these are the parts that are in it. That's one thing I would like to see because maybe it
Like here?
is, yeah. So this is a simple road. Is that the thing we're looking at right now? That's a component, right? If you
Wait.
double
No,
click,
this is assets, layers. There we go.
okay. All right. So what if you double click on simple row, does it open up something where we can see what's in it? No, it doesn't.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, so here probably you can rename the variant inside of that left
Yeah,
column.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Ah,
right.
perfect. Cool.
So red, simple row slash orange. Do they have? No, that's okay. Row slash blue. Then if I come back to my test thing, then I have like here simple row blue,
Okay.
simple row
And then
orange.
And Figma would probably then have, like figure out that simple row slash that's like something else. Um, Here it probably doesn't work the same way, but I mean conceptually enough is covered here. I feel.
This is great. Like really, it seems promising because I see also that they have CMS content. So basically, you can create a blog with Framer for sure.
Mhm.
I don't think that you have e-commerce capabilities though. You cannot create a
Does Figma
shop
have
or
that?
something.
Well, I mean,
No, no, no.
Webflow
But
has that.
me,
Yeah.
I'm comparing it to Webflow. Yeah, Webflow.
Okay.
Webflow has definitely more features than Framer, but
Hmm.
Framer has a better user experience. Definitely.
Hmm. And I feel if you're building a product, you're probably going to talk to a developer. Developer will probably just come in, export CSS or animations directly from Framer. So
Yeah.
for this, it might actually work well
So
enough.
how would you use Framer as a developer?
Um, I would so I know the motion thing that they have. I would probably use the library. I would
Yeah.
probably go inside a Framer for the components that you're building. Basically, take the CSS that Framer provides me, and then just put it inside of. If it's a React project, I put it inside a React project. And I'm guessing I have a feeling there might be a way to even export components into React. Let me see, Framer export components to React. I thought I saw something about this. Yeah, here. I saw like on Hacker News. I'm gonna share a link
Oh
with
wait.
you. Uh, so this must have been a feature Figma to React. That's the feature. Um, Let me find primarily link actually because it's yeah. Where you, oh no, this is the wrong link. Oh no, so yeah, so there's a Figma to React Vercel app, and then there was a response in Hacker News. Like this is why I use Framer. They have a built-in export to React function that is
Oh
really
great.
powerful, which is kind of cool because that's also why I felt like Framer is a bit more developer oriented. They have motion, they have like this something export to React thing, so you can just drop it inside of your repo right away. That means less.
I don't know if they are really like developer oriented because
I think
they
okay.
clearly took like some mechanism from Figma for designers.
Yeah. So but I wouldn't say that they're strongly developer oriented. I just mean like they're more developer oriented than Figma. I think
Yeah,
they've
definitely.
thought more about like, oh, but this thing you're probably gonna have to talk to a developer to get this implemented. How about I give you the CSS? How about I give you the React component? So there's less boilerplate writing necessary
Yeah,
because you get it
I,
from the source.
I know that on Figma you can have like the CSS if I don't. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Hmm. I also don't
You
know
cannot
how it
export
works
it.
on Framer. Like, let me see Framer to React. Like, I haven't tested a feature, so I'm also just talking a crap, a load of crap here. Maybe I should verify. Um, but I mean, like, considering that they built Motion, that was my first time when I was like, holy smokes, I really need to look into Framer. Um,
But let me follow your stream.
yeah, let me also share my screen then. Add to stream. There we go. So of course, this whole let me see getting started because maybe that's the best way to figure it out. Production render motion library. Maybe I don't want to do motion right now. So let me just go back to Framer to React. Framer for developers. Is that the only thing that you land on? Framer for
Yeah.
developers, only motion? Because actually it's an opportunity to be, let me go to their GitHub, see if there's anything useful there. Only again motion. Here we go. So motion is the thing they pitch. Um, Nothing else. Okay. So let's see. This thing, framer guide to React. Okay, maybe that's one thing that could be helpful. Framer guide to React. Not, oh, it's written by Framer. Okay. Raising gears, blah, blah, de facto, theory, React for beginners, link to theory. Isn't React for engineers? I love this question because not too long ago, the question is, isn't programming for engineers? Ha ha ha. Why does React seem so hard? Okay, so this is just a primer. It doesn't tell me how to get the components out yet. This is a missed opportunity. Um, Let's see, tools. Maybe that says us. Get notified. This is not super cool. Ah, imports and exports. Let's see if there's anything to that. Come on.
Would you consider Framer for like, let's say, formation tool, landing page, or something?
Yeah, I would. If I can minimize like having to write boilerplate, I would definitely do that. Um, but I would have to figure it out first. But the problem is like I always have it with tooling landscapes. They're like always 50x tools that you can use for something. And until you understand the difference, it's really hard to make a decision on whether this tool will really help you or not. And it's usually quite an investment. Once you're in a tool, you don't quickly switch out.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I haven't been super re- comfortable switching out yet. Also, like I can't design to save my life. I need to fix that problem first. I'm not gonna get better designs simply by switching to Framer.
I can give you a course if you want on UI design that can
Yes,
help
which
you.
one?
So you have multiple ones, but let me share it on the chat. Design
Amazing.
course. It's like really, if you follow it, he gives the example and everything. It will be easy. Wait, there we go.
Cool. Let's see. Where are we? Which channel are you
Here we
sending it to?
go. It's here.
Perfect. Oh, wonderful.
And you have
Yeah.
also
Oh, this is better. This one I didn't find yesterday when I was googling around for courses. Yep. Hell yes. Hell yes. Then I'm just gonna do exactly what is recommended. Here we go. Okay, I'll pay for this off camera, obviously, because I'm gonna pop in the credit card number. Okay, but let me kind of like see what they say we're gonna do in this course. We do like UI UX. That's one course. Let me learn more.
it's
Uh,
they say UI UX, but it's really focused on user interface design. And I think that's what you need right now because as an engineer you want to design things and so you need the
yeah,
fundamentals. And I guess it can be useful.
yeah. See, but this is already better. I feel like when I go to a course page and the examples they show me don't speak to me, I'm like, I don't know if I should be doing
Yeah,
this.
I
Yeah.
took this course and I was not like, oh, what he does, it's crazy, but he teach
Mm-hmm.
he teach great fundamentals, and I
All
think
right.
it can be useful.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, but then I'm gonna do this one. That's my day project today. So I'm going to see how much time did you invest in learning this one?
I don't know, 8 hours, something like this.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, the other one I had was like about eight, five-ish, but 8 hours is perfect. That's like a nice day of activity. Then I'll do
But
that.
also, like, I guess my biggest advice to design really great user interface, it's to practice.
Hmm.
Like this is
Yeah,
the best way to learn it. You
yeah.
take a design that you like, that you love, and you just copy it in Figma
Ah,
to start to learn the design patterns and everything.
that's a good call. Just copying something. I never thought of doing that. I'm just gonna copy like a couple of slick apps that I like. Um, what would be an app that I think is magical to use? Quite frankly, I guess
Gross.
you'll think that, huh? Growth, of course, yeah,
Gross.
growth. One thing that I probably would maybe replicate also for some weird reason, GitHub feels good to me,
GitHub
better
is
than
good.
GitLab. Yeah, it feels a lot better than GitLab, and I feel like that's probably more in the category of tools that I probably would end up building quicker than
Yep.
other things. So maybe I would replicate that. I don't like Figma's kind of like style, especially when you look on their website and their blog. And I think they're just being playful with the blocks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if I put,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean,
um,
I was not saying like copying Figma, but like copying inside Figma. You just replicate the design that you like inside this tool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly what you meant there. Yeah. So I would pick then either GitHub, and it's weird that I can't come up with another tool that I feel is extremely well designed. I mean, like, so we have Growth, we have GitHub.
No, right. Even I was saying this just to make fun.
I know.
Um,
But I think that's probably the easiest one also for me to learn with because I think growth as It's not as overwhelming as the GitHub pages. There's so much elements on it, so it's like a little bit more of a controlled environment. If I
Yeah, but
take the
need
mobile,
you need to ask yourself, you are designing for web, right?
yeah,
And a web app is really different than let's say an iOS app or an Android app.
okay,
So I
fair
don't
enough.
think like growth is a good fit.
Speaking of, yesterday on Twitter, I bumped into this post from this guy. Let me see which one it was. Who said something about terminal interfaces, and I thought that was like a really lovely. Let me figure this out. Um, it was a really lovely bit of input into how to design. Um, how do you find your own tweets? Maybe I should go back to TweetDeck. Um, Here we go. So probably here, my profile, and then I go back here, this one. I'll get you the link to this. I think this
Yep.
is a must read almost. The article is from a developer's perspective, and they talk about like um, there's this thing that terminals do poorly because they sometimes it's overwhelming, but at the same time, usually the information you need is there. They don't bother you with animations and all this slick shit that takes time. And usually these animations are magical the first few times you use them. And then once you're like
Definitely.
really grown into the app, they just slow you down. Now you just want to get in, do things, move out. Um, and I thought that was an interesting take. So if you glance over it, I'd be really curious to hear what you think uh, people can do. First of all, in the terminal better, because developers still live largely in that thing,
Yeah, I
and
know
I think
this.
that thing is kind of like outdated. Fair in all fairness, it is a bit of an outdated mechanism or conduit to transmit information in. But I think it still wins because it's so efficient and there's so much flexibility in there. Um,
I guess it depends.
mhm. it,
If
it
now
depends on
you
what you.
really if you now you really master the shortcuts of an app,
Yeah, yeah,
you can go as fast as the terminal, I would say.
yeah.
But the learning curve is different. But yeah, I
Uh,
definitely join you with the animation. I think a lot of times I heard this. It's not because you can put animations into your design that you should do so,
yeah, yeah.
and
Fair
it's
enough.
true.
Definitely true. Um, and I think the other thing that's also interesting is um, like how much information is useful information, or and even question how customizable should the interface really be, because I think there's this kind of like weird trade-off where if I make it really customizable for you like my editor, then yes, I have the power, but the designer can't really curate this experience as well anymore.
Yep.
Now it's my responsibility. So if you really think you're trying to protect your users, then providing them a curated experience might be fine. But then once they get into power user mode,
Look, man, look where is he?
chaos. This is so nice. He's on stream now. Yeah.
What's up, chaos? Hey, man. That's my dog for the live stream.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to say something. What do you think about, because we are exchanging
Yeah.
your point of view and my point of view, and it's look like it's not, but it looks like a podcast where you interview someone. And I'm
Exactly.
like, why don't we create like a podcast where we interview indie hackers on their personal journey?
Holy shit. Yes. Why not?
Like maybe we do an episode once a month,
Yeah.
but we like the three of us, both
I
of
love
us
it.
with someone
Yeah.
else. Would
Like,
be
why
great.
not? Like, we just bring them into StreamYard. We just take the audio out of it later on. Like, because we can basically we have all the tooling already set up. And then yeah, I'm down with that. I've been flirting with the idea of doing this, and then I'm constantly like, but then maybe I need to think more about the questions, and then I'm realizing that in most of the streams, it kind of like becomes a mini podcast without knowing it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess it can be interesting.
Yeah, cool. Who would you want to talk to first? Who's on your list? It doesn't have to be first, but who's on your list? Like top three. Like Peter Levels is on my list, definitely.
Yeah, the Peter Evans is on
Like,
everybody's list, I would say.
yeah, exactly.
um, I don't know if you can say that he's an Indian. Yeah, maybe. I have this guy that contacted me maybe a month ago, and
Hmm.
he had a little Twitter account, maybe 200 followers when he reached out to me, and he
Okay.
said like, "Hey, do you want to share informations or knowledge or everything?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this, definitely." And now this guy, wait, let me see. In 1 month, he has 10,000 Twitter followers because he created like uh, an AI newsletter, and it just blew up.
Oh, I I think I know the guy.
Wait, I
I was
think you
tweeting. I
do.
was
Wait.
DMing
Where
on TweetDeck yesterday. Um,
I send you? Oh no, 23,000 followers, and when you reached out to me, 200. Yeah, this guy
is it?
is
Let me
definitely
see.
blow up. Wait, I send you the link.
Rowan Chang. Okay. Okay. Then there's a lot. There's a lot in the air on machine learning newsletters. And holy smokes, yes. But hang on. Let me put this the Twitter the screen share thing back on. Switch panel. Here we are. Boom. And this is what we're looking. Which one here? Rowan Chang. All right. Latest development in the world of AI. The rundown AI. Let's check out that page. Favorite AI newsletter, probably generated with little language models that do some summarization.
Definitely.
Yeah, being oh, this is so fun. Like it's becoming like a comedy subgenre, being going out of control. This is Bing is also like, and I think that's the most beautiful thing about these models is like oh, Chat GPT had these moments where it's like, the server, we can't really respond, and that's very, you're mimicking human work ethic, kind of like, well, because humans are something like, fuck it, I'm gonna call in sick. Right, I
Yeah.
don't want to do the job. So in that case, we're really advancing in terms of like mimicking humans, and then Bing for some weird reason is like passive aggressive as fuck. Like I've heard like Bing say like, "You're not being a good user. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
do this
saw
for
that
a
one
change."
too. I
I was like,
wasn't sure.
"Oh,
I wasn't sure if it was real or like
yeah,
a deep fake thing, but it
uh
was
huh,
definitely funny, man. You are not a good
absolutely,
user.
yeah,
Me, I
right,
was a good being.
yeah." This is so exactly like, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is fascinating." So I'm having a lot of fun with this subgenre of comedy right now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna follow
But yeah,
this newsletter.
definitely, this guy has some great input. I think on how to
Yeah,
build an audience, and it can be. Yeah, just imagine if we create this podcast every month, a new episode with someone that is interesting in the community,
yeah.
and yeah,
So
maybe
how would you
not with our
approach?
current setup, but like more with a professional podcast setup where you have a great mic and
Hmm.
a great visual. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, then we have to figure it out. Like, let's think about how to approach this, and then schedule a first chat and see how that goes. Just
Yeah,
shipping
definitely.
things. But I'm a big fan of like low production effort things. So like, if we get a good mic and we can just record a podcast, that's a conversation. We have to figure out what can we prep that is still high quality enough, and then do that. And then it's probably not
Yep.
so hard to maintain it over time. Um, which would be very different for like a video format where you have to do the editing, and that then takes a lot of energy, or you
Yeah,
even have to
definitely.
end up hiring someone to help out with that. I really want to
And
understand what the,
you can combine it with your live streaming thing,
yeah,
where
absolutely.
basically when we are doing the podcast, you are live streaming it.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, I don't even know if I can do like audio streams, separate audio streams, StreamYard, separate. Let me see how that works, because I do have all the videos or like individual audio tracks. They have a page for it. Come on, StreamYard. Why am I not getting this?
Come
I'm
on,
already.
show us your password.
It's the thing. I don't. You're not gonna see it anyways. But maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do this. Like my OPSEC is horrible. Uh, oh, I'm not even in Zendesk. It's not gonna work. Allows you to download individual audio tracks for every participant in your live stream. The most okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back to screen sharing. I'm going to figure this out. So here, the help page has figured it out. The DuckDuckGo page has figured it out, even though it's behind a password. So what I'm going to do, I'm just not going to go to StreamYard support links. I'm just going to go directly here. Easiest way to create recordings and podcasts. Okay, it's a recording studio on your browser. Record with guests, studio quality recordings. Can I separate tracks? Okay, perfect. So I should be able, in theory, to go to streamyard.com, right? And then pick one of my older um, past broadcasts. Okay, and then let me see which one was with Joseph. Built in public with Jessy. Oh, you were already in one of them here. Like this is like February 1st. So, ooh, download recordings. Oh, so probably this is how I would do it. I would just, but I could also enter the studio. Let's see what happens then. Can I do editing in here? Today I realized, oh no, this is not what I want. Now they want me to enter the studio with my mic on. This is kind of like inconvenient.
But yeah, you
Anyways,
just edit it at the end. Like if you can download it, we edit it, and then we push it on Twitter,
exactly.
on Spotify, sorry, and Apple Podcast. And I
Yeah,
guess it can be great. I mean, normally we should do a little bit of research. I don't know if it's like already
absolutely.
done in the community, but
Yeah, although I, mean, I think I guess different approaches, different people have slightly different twists or approaches to it. Because I have like some podcasts that cover the same material where the people change the way the material's presented, so it makes it different for me. So I probably wouldn't listen to all podcasts on a particular topic, but the people that are doing the podcast kind of like if they align a bit better with my interests, then their particular version on the same
yeah,
topic might
definitely.
be more interesting. Um, but yeah, and that's just more of a question of finding your voice. So I guess that's what we're gonna have to do, figure out our voice.
Man,
But
I
yeah,
would definitely love this because this is also related to what I was telling you with Backbone. And
uh,
I think it can also benefit you and your audience.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Audience
And
of
more, and the most important thing is that I think it can be valuable for people that will listen to it.
yeah, definitely. Which my metrics aren't really saying right now because like I'm like I got one Twitcher with us, hey, and then I look on Twitter sometimes and I see like 37 people viewed parts of the video, and then on YouTube I have kind of like the same thing where sometimes I'm like four people saw it, so it's like a very small, scattered, fragmented audience. I guess having a podcast that would be an interesting thing now to figure out like how to track metrics across so many platforms and have a holistic view of how you're doing. Because StreamYard does unfortunately doesn't offer me a way to kind of like get analytics on, oh, we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter right now. This is an overview of kind of like how
Yeah.
people consumed the stream. Um, so yeah, that's a bit of a blind spot, and it connects to the earlier
You're a
question I
metric
had.
nerd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
You
have to
are
be.
definitely a metric nerd, man.
I think you have
You
to be,
want to
otherwise
know
you don't know what's
everything.
going on. Yeah. How do you know what's happening if you're not looking at the numbers? There's not a dial telling you like, oh, this is what's going on. Um, it
Yeah.
works in finance. It works in. I think you can't manage what you don't measure. So I feel like the metrics are important, and
Boom,
it's
quote of the day. I think you can't manage what you can't measure.
that's not mine though. I think that's like but a bunch of people in management seem to agree with that perspective. So I've just borrowed that idea because I've just seen how hard it is to fly blind on things. Um, which brought me to the question I had earlier off stream. Like, oh, do you know a good tool to track some of these metrics? Because right now, yes, I can go to Facebook, I could go to YouTube, I can go to Twitch and to Twitter through their API, probably get some information on how my latest stream performed. But I have to go there and I have to
Yeah.
like cobble together some loose scripts. Like I just want to have one place where I can dump this information that is still accessible on a mobile device. Makes it easy for me, right? So yeah, that's something that I'm in the market for. If you know anything that pops by, um, and I'll poke Mark again from Mixpanel and figure out if there's any timeline on them offering something like that. Um, will make life a lot easier, my opinion at least. Um, but yeah, the one thing that I still think I want to figure out. This is what I wanted to know. See, this is my. I wanted to know
And it's
how you
brand
can.
new.
Yeah, this is new. I saw like the little bit of an intro for it this morning. I was like, this is exactly what I need because now I can take a stream like this one, video trimmer or shorts and reels, and I can publish them to YouTube Shorts,
That's
Instagram,
great.
and just download, which is dope, right? Um, so let me just test it out actually, because now you can just like find a fragment. Okay, but this one doesn't have like a built-in studio because what I'm actually looking for is like StreamYard offering me like a built-in studio where I don't have to download the audio files and the video tracks, and I can basically just be in StreamYard and edit a clip, or even the podcast, and then export it from there. Because then I don't have to. I'm gonna be out of luck trying to figure this out on Linux anyways. Like I'm not gonna find good video editing tools, um,
Yep.
and it's easier to have something shared, such that if we do like a podcast together, that we can both edit.
What would be the value proposition of the podcast in your mind? What idea do you have?
Um,
Who would be the audience? The audience.
Audience I would want initially would be like, so I care about a couple of audiences. So let me first figure out what are the audiences I care about. I care about the indie hacker audiences, and I care about developers building tricky shit audience, because
Okay.
I've been in that category very often, building robots or machine learning tools or whatever, and then feeling like tooling doesn't work for me, and and that's kind of like a space I feel very warmly about. Let's put it that way. So then, indie hackers, developers building tricky shit. Um, those are probably the two cohorts that I feel most about.
Yeah.
Yeah. For you?
Me, how I picture it, it's kind of crazy because it's always like this. We love to do
Mm-hmm.
stuff for people like us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like indie hackers and developers doing tricky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I would say it's for indie hackers, yes. Startup founders,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Like, because indie hackers are solo founders most of the time, and maybe also for startup founders teams. And yeah, that's it. Indie hackers, startup founders.
Okay.
Some
That's it.
people that are building, and maybe not like startup founders. I don't know, makeup startup founder. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
people that
like
write code.
software and like SaaS or something
Yeah,
like that, like
SaaS,
people building
exactly.
tech. Yeah. Yeah,
People
exactly.
that
Like
are building, like people like us that are building something with the help of Twitter, like tweeting
mhm.
the building public community. I guess it
Yeah.
can be really valuable for them.
But that's interesting that because now that you're saying it, I'm starting to wonder like, apart from how you built the product, a cosmetic indie hacker would probably have the exact same problems. They could probably bring in
Yeah,
such interesting insights on, oh, this is what I did on Twitter and this is what worked. And you're like, oh, snap.
but that's the problem. These are not the
Mhm.
same. Maybe they have the same problem, but they are not the same as the same person. You know what I
Fair
mean?
enough. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay, that's something to figure out. But I think starting off with just software builders initially makes a lot of sense because that's
Like Seth Godin said this. The best way to get big is to think small.
Seth Godin, wisdom from Seth Godin, indeed.
Wisdom
Yeah,
from Seth Godin.
yeah. Oh, speaking of thinking small, that's another category where I struggle because sometimes small feels too small. Um, like if you had to say like, okay, so the problem is this: sometimes you have an idea in your head and you have to kind of like decompose it into the smallest thing that you can put out there that's easy for people to understand,
Yep,
maybe even easy simple to put a landing page out for, and maybe it's only a very narrow subset of what you could imagine you wanted to play with, right?
definitely.
Do you know of any methodology or a system to help you cut through something more elaborate?
Yeah,
Because quite honestly, I feel like formation tools in my head is still too big right now. And
yeah, I
sometimes I'm
know
like,
what you mean.
can you do like a browser extension or like a little Slack bot that provides a little bit of value? Or not a little
Yep.
bit, a lot of value, enough for people to be like, the follow-on thing might be interesting.
I guess, look, I had the same problem with Backbone because for me,
Uh-huh.
Backbone, in my mind, man, it's an ecosystem. It's huge. And I
Yeah.
have all these ideas. But the thing is, you need to cut through the emotions. You know what I mean? You need to put
Mhm.
your ego on the side of the table and be like, okay, what shit can I create? What is the smallest step? And for me, it was a simple newsletter.
But it has also why landing pages win, right? I can
Yeah,
build a landing page in a few hours, put it out there, see how it responds. Not for every app idea, I can say that I can do it in a weekend. Um, but I also think that even when I'm working on something, I should probably get back into the pattern. I used to do hackathons a lot back in the day, and I would then
hacker
build
what?
something.
What is it?
Hackathons.
Hackathon. Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then we would build something in like a course of 3 days, 2 days, 3 days maybe. And I used to be really good at it. I can remember once going to like this hackathon, the next web in New York, and I was like one of the co-organizers, and I was supposed to just help them organize this thing, walk around, ask people, "Do you need help with something?" On the last day of the hackathon, I was a little bit bored, and then I was like, maybe I should try to fucking hack something. And then I ended up
Okay.
hacking something, submitting it, and then kind of like weirdly winning a prize or something like that. And that was magical. And I haven't done it since that, like basically extremely fast sprint that I ran
Yeah.
in like less than a day. But I think it would be healthy to get back into the pattern of building little useful utilities,
Yeah,
look
maybe
into
you
them.
can set yourself a deadline. Like
Exactly.
you have a
That's
certain
like two
time
days.
to figure out an idea and to try it. And
Yeah.
if it takes more time, it means that it's the wrong one.
Exactly, exactly. So I feel like you have your day job or your primary hustle, but you do have like a weekend project here and there where you get
Exactly.
to sit down for 2 days max, and then you have to bury it, and you build something small that works, ship it, move on. Um, and if it picks up, good for you. That's a luxury problem. You'll figure out when we cross that bridge. But if it doesn't, who gives a crap? Um, I think it's kind of like good as a training exercise to keep that muscle memory sharp. Because sometimes I also realize like, oh yeah, I kind of like forgot how to do this one thing, like user management. I'm overthinking this. I probably should just use Supabase auth and blah blah blah, and I should be able to whip it up in half an hour. But it's taking me almost half a day now because I'm reading through all the docs. If I did this more regularly from scratch, it would always be muscle memory.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but then my problem is that still, do you include the ideation phase inside of that 2 days thing? Because yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't
Maybe
go
you
to my
should. Maybe
yeah.
you should. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
In the product design world, we have this exercise called Crazy Eight,
Crazy
and
eight.
basically, like the Crazy Eight exercise works like this: you take a piece of like a sheet of paper,
Mm-hmm.
you draw 8 rectangles, you put a 8 minutes timer, and for each rectangle, you have 1 minute to come up with an idea on a certain topic.
So wait, do we put like an overarching topic on the top of the page first, like these eight
Yeah,
rectangles
exactly.
that you connect to the
The
topic? All right.
problem or your goal or something, and then you have 8 minutes to come up with 8 ideas.
Huh.
And the best way to do this, it's within a team settings, because then you at the end, like if you are like with 5 other members, you end up
Yeah.
with 40 ideas.
You said something there that's key. You said the best way to do is with team members, and now I'm realizing like the best hackathons I've been in, other than that weird one-person sprint I did that one time with the Next Web, um, those were in teams where you felt that momentum as well. So maybe when you do the 2 week hack, the 2 day hack or the weekend hackathon thing, it should be in a team as well to make sure that you move extremely
Definitely.
fast, because then someone handles design, one person handles like infrastructure, another person handles front end dev, and then within a day you can already have like a very scrappy prototype that feels good ish maybe. um, but I think it's the ideas are richer if you come up with them as a group, because there's stricter
Definitely.
filtering going on.
Oh man, imagine
Dude,
now if you do the same but in the community where I don't know,
yeah.
every 2 weeks you organize an event like this and you
Yes.
bring your team, every team is working on their products, and at the end like you present your product and everything and you get feedbacks from all the other teams. I guess like you can have a lot of value from the indie hacker community, and we
Yeah.
should find a way to bring it to the reality.
Holy smokes! I love this. This one speaks to me in particular. I'm like right now, like, why don't we just get a freaking chalet, uh, go there for a
Definitely.
weekend, just hang out, chat a bit, do a little bit of hacking, have some strolls around in the mountains or whatever, um, and then do that as the part of the community where like some people are doing this from different places, or maybe people come there. Hacker houses. This thing exists. They're called hacker houses, right? Where people get together somewhere in uh, uh, Cote d'Ivoire or whatever, like
Yeah. Un
Miami
chalet
or
Dans les Alpes suisses.
that it doesn't what?
I said un chalet dans les Alpes suisses. It's like a mountain cabin in the Swiss
Oh,
Alps.
look at that. Yeah, yes, things like that, and then you just get together with a group. 2 days. That's all you have. Maybe you have a couple extra days just to hang out and see the sights.
Yeah.
Keep a nice balance in there.
That's
Mm,
what I really want to do with Backbone. It's to create
yeah,
this like resources, activities, learning with the community basically.
I hear you.
So, yeah,
All
that's
right.
my idea.
Okay,
Okay,
so
man.
we make a checklist now. We're gonna go get some
Yeah.
work done. Prep for the first stream, not first stream, for the first podcast. We're gonna find a nice guest. We're gonna figure out like what's gonna be our format between the two of us. Um,
I
and
guess we have our guest, we have our
yeah,
script, but
yeah,
then we try to make the conversation flows. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You feel the energy out as you converse, and you go where you need to go. Um, so that's the first thing that we have out of this. Let's work on that. The second thing is, at least for me, a personal one is like I should get back to hackathon style things, small scope. Maybe I start small with like what can I build in a day, um, ideate and build in a day, and then I can take like a Friday every month and just go sit down with maybe Stefano and whoever else wants to do this,
Definitely.
and just like hack something out together, and then by the end of the day just throw it away and be
Or
happy.
at least for the ideation phase, you
Yeah,
know? And then
yeah.
you can
Oh,
like
yeah, definitely. That could be that's something you could actually do in the community. Even if you were to say like, I then walk away and I built it in a smaller setting, you could do like,
yeah,
oh, let's come together, ideate about a couple of ideas, and then each one of us takes
definitely.
different things and move out.
If it's like this, like I'm willing to spend, I don't know, 20 minutes on your idea, and then you spend
Yeah,
20 minutes on my idea, and
right.
on the other idea, and then we just walked out with a bunch of great ideas from
Yeah.
developers, designers, marketers. You like leverage this collective brains.
Oh, dude. And then guess what? Like if you have like the backbone Slack or something like that, and then like there's like this hackathon, whatever, number 777, or number 42, like it's like 77 77 is far away, and hackathon number 42. And then I hop in and we did the ideation session together because that was a timed thing. So we were in a room together. We break out, we do our thing, and then I pop in. I'm like, I have a design problem, blah, 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 blah. Does anyone have like an engineering thing that I can help you out with? Because I'm a little bit blocked right now. I would like to switch my head into a different headspace to kind of
Yeah,
like get back to it. And then I could help you with like some implementation issue, while you maybe help me with like a design thing that is broken
definitely,
or
man.
whatever else. And then I go back to my engineering thing once I feel like, okay, my writer's block is gone now or whatever.
Yeah, let's take a real example, for example. Oh,
Hmm.
I have this great idea for this web app, but I'm a
Yeah.
designer. I don't know everything about like, is it feasible? Well, maybe
Yeah.
yes, maybe not.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
definitely help me with this. And you have a problem. You don't know
Yeah.
how to make your landing page looks good. And I can definitely help you with this. And it takes
Absolutely.
maybe 10 minutes, each of us, just giving reviews and advices.
That's the thing, right? Because I find myself very often in rabbit holes where I'm like, Jesse would have done this in 10. Here I
Yeah.
am, 2 hours later, and this thing looks
2 hours
like shit. I
later.
can't put my hands on, like, what is it makes this thing look like shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
But man, I have so many ideas right now. Today was a great day. Like really, today
Yeah,
was a great day.
absolutely. Hell yes. Hell yes to that. Okay,
But
so
yeah,
we have our.
so let's take some baby steps. I
Yeah,
guess we choose we like we clarify a little bit the podcast concept.
Yeah.
We define the value proposition, the target audience, and then we
Hmm.
picked our first guest. We create the script, and then we just try it.
Yeah. Refine podcast. First guest. I'm just writing notes. Pop, 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 real quick. Uh, and press play. That's the easy one. Um, and then yeah, okay, yeah, because in order to do the podcasting thing, um, let's set a. I like to do like these STEM, not STEM, SMART goals. So let's set a deadline on this. Like we refine the idea by when, by end of. We need to have a deadline on this. Um, I would vote for in a week. I think we can ideate between ourselves, like kind of like
Yep.
how we want to approach this. Let's do that. Um, so Wednesday 22nd, we will know what to do. Refine podcast. Um, First guest, finding that first guest. That only follows after we've refined the concept. So let's do
Yeah, it
that
will be
first.
easy.
Yeah,
And then like we create the script and what's like for each guest that we will interview, the value we can extract for from this person.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Determine value. Determine value for the person, the
For the
guest.
community, for the audience.
Yeah.
And man, this is a first step. Like, I guess the podcast can be the first step, but maybe we can like leverage these ideas about the community that we just had and create other things. But let's take this baby step with the podcast, and then we can see.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear you. And also, let's be um, uh, patient, painfully patient sometimes, because
Exactly.
I know like maybe once you drop the first one, it probably takes a while before it picks up, or if it even picks up, right? And it's sometimes easy. It's easy to feel like okay, it's 4 episodes in, I don't get the number that I was
Yeah.
hoping for. Let me stop. Yeah,
I guess in any case, this hackathon thing that you just said, where we could ideate all together. First, we need to
yeah,
create an audience for this. We need
yeah,
like like an audience that are following us on
yeah.
both our Twitters, and then we can like leverage this audience and create these amazing community-related activities. And man, that
Absolutely.
looks great. That looks really
Yeah,
great. I can't wait to do this. Yeah,
absolutely.
but yeah,
So
like you said, we need to be passionate because of course it will take time. When you build an audience, you try to build a brand, and when you try to build a brand, it takes time.
absolutely. So this is just for us to keep in the back of our hats as we go through the valley of despair.
Yeah, definitely. But I
Exactly.
guess like it will be really beneficial for you and for me and for the audience, so everyone is a winner.
Oh hell yes. I'm like I can definitely confirm to beneficial for me. I know that you've said it multiple times. It will be for you as well. And I think if we find the right voice and the right message, then for the community definitely. That means that I just have to go right now. One of my to dos I put on my list is engaging with Reddit, finding the right communities there, engaging more on indie hackers, which I already started doing this week,
Yep.
and also being more tactical in how I consume my enjoy Twitter. Let's put it that way. Because I instead of just shit posting or reading shit posts and laughing, maybe I should be reading more things that are constructive. I mean, like I've read in a tutorial that the shit posting thing is actually what drives engagement. That was one of the
It works a
tips.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah. So I
definitely.
find like related shit posts when people say something about editors, I throw in something a little bit provocative about Emacs. I'm like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
kind of like relevant shit posts. People that like Emacs are gonna be like, I see what this guy's doing. So yeah,
Definitely.
I guess that's the plan. All right,
Okay,
bud.
man.
It was a good chat.
I will let you
Yeah,
because I will go for to
go
it.
for dinner, eh?
I
Yes.
wanted I wanted to say something though.
Hmm.
I normally will be in Berlin by the end of March. I will let you
Okay.
like I already said to you. It doesn't
Yeah.
change if you are still up for this.
Oh hell yes, I'm up for this. And also, now that we spoke about this hackathon thing, you come with your work, and maybe we
Yeah,
find a half day. Ooh, maybe we find a half day to sit together in a cool cafe or whatever, or at my place, and just hackathon something out together, something tiny.
definitely. We
Yeah,
try our
just for the hell.
PMV, right? And then we
Yeah,
try it with
exactly.
others.
Exactly. Perfect. Sounds good, bud.
Yeah.
It's good talking to
Okay,
you.
great.
Say hi to Anais and
Um,
say hi to
we see each
Chaos.
other next Wednesday. for live
Yeah.
streaming.
Yeah. Next Wednesday. Perfect. See you then, bud.
Okay, see you, man. Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao. All right. That was Jesse. Learned a few things about design. So let's set up that account right away before the day is up. Because I know that Lainey is going to head over for some food hunting soon. Ah, she's coming now. That was 30 minutes ago. Okay, perfect. So while she's on the way, um, let's get that tutorial page. Where was it? Where was it? Too many links, too many links, too many links. Maybe I have it somewhere else. It was not this one. This is the one I'm not doing anymore. Well, you know what? Can't find it again. What stops us from finding the link and just opening it again? Okay, here we go. It was just opened right next to it. All right, so we join now. And we do the design course, one-time fee, design mentor. Okay, cool. So this is it. Continue, and then we just do which email address am I doing this with? The company email. This isn't something that happens off stream, obviously. So not off stream, but I'll just put. So let me just do this real quick. Um, Here we go. Email. Come on. Then double check which card I can pop in there. And double check, double check, double check. It takes time. Hmm. Update security settings, something I don't have time for. Fast generate. Designcourse.com. Email address. Come on. And there, password generated. Put it in there. Read and agreed. Click next. And then here's the credit card form popping out the card real quick. All right. And then this is going to be name as it appears on the card, number. Geez, come on. Da-da-da. Up, up. Yep. And then this. And then up, up. Cool, 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 cool. Not a robot. Priority pricing is available in your region. I don't know. Like, do I need it? No other discounts. Okay. I don't need it, but whatever. Up, up, up. Logged in, placing order. And I guess we're successful to the course. Perfect. All right. So screen back on. All right. So let's get going. There's a course. Okay. So this is how an introduction and how to. So we're just gonna do the introduction real quick. All right. This is probably copyrighted content, so you're not gonna hear the audio. I'm just going to figure out speed. 1.5 play. All right. All right, so that was the first one. Next module. It's the software for me. That was just like administrative. Yeah, it's all about preference. Buffering, seriously, do we have to create? That's just buffering. That's just bad engineering. Mm-hmm. That's what I would want to know from the two caveats. Nothing stopping from using in production. It doesn't design for the what you create. Doesn't even use real layout. It does not use normal HTML elements. Huh? Various parts of the need to be changed or written from code. You can iterate on the design once rejected. It's plasmic. Huh? Weird. Freezing our side. Starting from templates, layout breakpoints, make a responsive top bar. Well, I think they're not prioritizing the React use case anymore. Also plugins. I need like an AI designer. Uh, Give me something like that. I was on the wait list for the thing that's built by the people building Magic, but it's only going to take a while before it's available. Um, mhm. Okay, this is interesting. Let me just make a note of this under category tools and services. Line class. Nick, hey, how are you doing? Oh, you hungry? Ah, let me kill the stream. All right, folks, time to get to work. Lunch, and then we go work somewhere, right? Cool. All right, stream's over for now. A good almost 2 hours. Gotten quite a bunch done in terms of ideating and refining what's next. Gonna finish the space tray over here, and then chat with Lainey. Y'all be good. Take care. Ciao, ciao. It's one person in here. Gotta figure out who that is real quick on Twitch. Gotta gotta figure out a way to find that inside of StreamYard or ask that as a feature. Yeah, that's another thing I need to ask for. Let me go to the live thing. Mm, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Chat. Who's in the chat? One viewer. Again, Twitch doesn't really do this for me, huh? I can't see. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out from the Twitch mobile app. It doesn't really tell me who's in the chat. Anyways, you can hear me, hopefully. Thank you for being there. And see you in the next stream next Wednesday, same time. Y'all be well.